No one should spend so many hours at work. It's not good. And people shouldn't work so much. They shouldn't do it too hard. Painful gut in the brain and heart and is not about trying to get rich. I don't live a life of consumption. I work a lot hours. But I think that what Tesla does is important for the future. That's why I keep doing it. When you had that third failure in a row, you thought it would be best to never leave it, because not never losing, that is to say, I would have to be dead, completely incapacitated. I think it is very difficult to start companies, and it's quite painful. I think it is important to keep it in mind. I don't know. It's probably not encouraging, but there is a friend of mine who has a good phrase to define what it is to create a startup. He says that it is like eating glass and looking into the abyss. If you're going to enter it, expecting just have a good time, you will be disappointed because you don't see it. It is quite painful. It is much easier to get a job in some other company, much easier and much less stressful. You will have more time for other things, but it would be happier. No, it would not be, it would be unhappier. It's really like if you're made to do it, then you're not. You should do it. But if it's not a bad idea, it's not going to optimize your leisure time or anything like that. It's going to be extremely difficult and stressful, so you should feel obligated to do it. Let me put it this way, if you need inspiring words, don't do it. Well, the company actually faced a serious death threat due to the production ramp of the Model 3. Essentially, the company was bleeding money in a very accelerated manner. And if we do not solve these problems in a very short period of time, we would die. And it was really extremely difficult to solve them. Everyone here, so you were close to dying for a few weeks, counting 22 hours a day, or how many hours and 7 days a week sleeping in the factory, working in the general body assembly paint shop. Did you ever worry about getting excited as if it were too much? Absolutely, noon should dedicate so many hours at work, and people should not work so much. They should not do it. It is very painful in the sense that my brain and heart hurt. Many times people think that creating a company is going to be fun. I would say that it is not really. No, it's so fun. I mean, there are periods fun, and there are periods when it's just horrible. And particularly if you're the CEO of the company, you actually have a distillation of all the worst problems with it. There's no point in spending your time on the things that are going well. So you can just spend your time to the things that there are things that go wrong, that other people can't take care of. So you are the manufacturer, you have a filter for the heaviest problems of the company, the most pernicious and painful problems. I think you have to feel quite obligated to do it, and have a fairly high pain threshold, high. And there is a friend of mine who says that creating companies is like looking into the abyss and eating glass. And there is some truth in that. Looking into the abyss is that you're constantly going to face the extermination of the company because the majority of startups fail. It's like 90 or 99% of startups fails, so that's the part of looking at the skin. You're constantly saying, okay, if I don't do it right, the company will die. It would have to be quite stressful. And then the part of eating glass, the main thing is what do you have that solving all problems can be quite stressful in the glass. Part is that you have to work on the problems that the company needs that you work on. Is not on the problems that you work on, nor is that why you end up working on the problems on which that you really wish you weren't working. 3 tips for female entrepreneurs. I think you certainly have to focus on something that you trust will be of great value to someone else, and you have to be really rigorous in making that evaluation. Because a natural human tendency is that we become illusions. Therefore, a challenge for businessmen is they ask themselves, well, what is the difference between really believing in your ideals and maintaining them versus pursuing an unrealistic dream that has no real merit? And that is something really difficult to see for yourself. You have to understand the difference between these two things. So you have to be very rigorous in your self-analysis. I think you certainly have to be extremely tenacious and work like a wolf. You have to dedicate 80,100 hours a week. That's a lot of work. All of those things improve the chances of success. I mean, if other people work 40-hour weeks, hours, and you work 100 hours, so even if you are doing the same thing, you know that you're going to achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year. Tesla increases the probability that the future will be good for humanity. And then for SpaceX, I think it is important that we become a space civilization and in a multiplanetary species. It is an exciting and inspiring future. You have to have things to get up in the morning that make you excited about the future, because living, if it is about solving problems to avoid being miserable so that live as they have to be, things that are inspiring, that touch your heart. And I think space is one of those things. Look at the Apollo program that sent the first people to the moon in '69. It wasn't a big deal for all of humanity, a big deal. And yes, if you ask people, what are some of the greatest things that humanity has ever done, that would be one of them, and I think a lover of the world, people would agree with that anyway. The point is that we want to have an exciting future, an inspiring and one in which we're a spacefaring civilization and a species multiplanetary. I think it is a much more exciting and inspiring future than one in which we're forever confined to the Earth and never return to the moon, where the moon was our high point. And that is all we're to do is depressing, and also from a long-term basis. If we're a multiplanetary species, it is like life insurance for life itself. Not only for humans, but for all creatures. You know that there are American heroes who do not like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Hernan Jeans. They both testified against commercial space flights the way you're developing them, and I wonder what your opinion is about it. I was saddened to see that, because those people are my servers, so it is very difficult for them to come and visit what we do. Hard thing we're doing, and I think that would change their mentality. They inspired you to do all this like this, and seeing them throw stones at you is difficulty. You were hoping that you would cheer up. Yes. I was hoping that they would do to me. Drive to do things is a little disconnected from hope, enthusiasm, or other things. The truth is that I don't care about hope or enthusiasm or motivation. I give everything I have, no matter what the circumstances are. You just have to go ahead and do it.